nothing stops me. I like to experience life. Just because I have a prosthesis and because I don't have an arm, it doesn't mean I can't do everything that everybody else does. I was born without my arm, so it was a congenital birth defect. Not sure why. As a child, as an infant, developmentally, I could do everything that any other child at those developmental stages could do. Say, 6 months, sit up, that kind of thing. Crawling, I wasn't very good at crawling because I didn't, I was off balance, so I walked early, so I was advanced. The hardest time, I think, was early on in elementary school, just the really suddenly realizing that I was different. I became very aware at an early age of my body image, and that really defined my self-image. And so for many years, I would say all through elementary school, junior high, high school, the connection with body image and self-image was really strong for me. And I think just motivating myself to get into uncomfortable situations, like joining the drill team and being out and performing in front of people, which is something that always made me stressed out and nervous and tense, but I knew that it had to be a hurdle that I had to get over, otherwise I'd be hiding from my whole life. Everything I've ever done has been one-handed or with my one hand in my prosthesis. So I never had to adapt to the loss of a limb. So for me, it's just par for the course every day. It's just standard procedure. I've been fortunate to have excellent prosthetic care my whole life. I've worn all types of prostheses that are available to upper extremity patients. I've worn cable operated, I've worn a passive, and I've worn a myoelectric. The difference, the main difference between the cable operated and myoelectric and passive are the straps. I love the fact with my passive and my myoelectric prosthesis that I have no straps. The difference between the socket design of the past and the new socket design is the flexible liner that they use on the interface. It gives a really good grip to your skin, to your surface of your skin. And it's really aggressive on the fit too. It's very snug. So there's not a lot of movement inside the socket. Prior to this new socket design, I could never get my hand up to my mouth all the way. This kind of motion all the way to here was impossible. But the way it's fit inside of the cubital fold in my arm, it gives me a much greater range of motion. A lot of people have asked me, how did you have these two little babies running around both in diapers and taking care of everything with one hand? And you just do. You just rise to the occasion. That was never a challenge, being limb deficient, raising kids, and there are other challenges that go along with that, like temper tantrums and things, but never any challenges associated with my arm. I like people asking me questions. I like people stopping and asking me what happened to your arm. A lot of times they can't tell that it's a prosthesis. They have asked me, why are you wearing that glove on your hand? And I have to show them it's a prosthesis. And I also have to go through a process of convincing them that it is actually a prosthesis because they're just not convinced. It looks too real. And I would much prefer people come and ask me questions than to stare or turn away. And actually, if they are staring, it gives me an opportunity to say, hey, I noticed you were looking at my arm. Do you have any questions? Let me tell you, this is a prosthesis. Have you ever seen one? Another opportunity to inform the public. Moving towards meaning in your life, or why you were born this way, or why did you lose your arm, or this kind of thing. I've been in education for 7 years. I was a high school teacher, an English teacher for many years. And so education comes natural to me. And being in this field, having grown up without an arm and understanding where people are coming from and being able to teach, it all makes sense to me. It's why I do this.